Welcome to A Moment of Zen. Time to sit back and relax as model, actress, mentor, and supermom Zen Sams takes you on a sexy and wild ride, covering the latest in film, fashion, pop culture, cryptocurrency, fintech, cannabis, and entertainment from the millennial mom's perspective. Here's your host, Zen Sams.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Welcome back to our 204th episode. That's right, 5 years on the air and still going strong. It's such a pleasure to spend my time with you on the airwaves. Thank you for tuning in every Saturday night and engaging with me on social media. That truly makes it all worthwhile. Please continue to follow me at Zen Sams. That's Zen with an X, not a Z. And remember, all episodes of A Moment of Zen are available on our YouTube channel Sundays as of 2 p.m. Eastern via digital streaming. And of course, you can also check us out on your home TV platform at mox.yourhometv.com. That's free programming to you. Tonight, we've got such an exciting lineup in the Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut. We're tackling a hidden health crisis, dehydration. Did you know nearly 75% of Americans are unknowingly dehydrated, including children? Joining me to break down the impact and solutions is a top functional medicine expert, Dr. Will Cole. In our Going Deep segment, brought to you by CO2 Lift, we welcome Julie Bass Kaplan, a board-certified family nurse practitioner, injector, and educator, who's here to discuss the evolving world of medical aesthetics, how CO2 Lift enhances injectable treatments, and why proper training is more critical than ever. And in a truly special double feature, Hydration with Heart, we're sitting down with none other than Miss Universe 2024 herself, Victoria Kev-Telvig, a national dance champion, educator, and polyglot fluent in 5 languages. She's redefining what it means to wear the crown. Beyond the glamour, she's a passionate advocate for arts, education, and cultural connection. She's going to join me tonight to discuss her journey, purpose, and how she's using her platform to inspire the next generation. Finally, in our Express Polished Beauty segment, our trusted expert and triple board certified cosmetic surgeon and OBGYN Dr. Daisy Aim breaks down vaginal hygiene. When it comes to cleansers, is less actually more? So sit back, relax, and get ready for another impactful episode of A Moment of Zen. We'll be right back after this, right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. Stay tuned for Miss Universe herself.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut.
Discover the refreshing taste of 100% pure coconut water that actually tastes great. Naturally sweet with no artificial flavors or added sugar. It's packed with electrolytes to keep you hydrated throughout your day. And with 10% of profits going to charity, every sip makes a difference. Pure taste, pure goodness. Experience nature's Gatorade. Visit Once Upon a Coconut or naturesgatorade.com. Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. This is the Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, where we talk wellness, empowerment, and the little things that make a big impact. Now, we've all heard the saying that beauty is more than skin deep, but my guest today embodies that truth in every way possible. She's a national dance champion, an educator, a polyglot fluent in 5 languages, and oh yeah, she just happens to be Miss Universe 2024. Victoria Kev-Telvig is a 21-year-old powerhouse from Denmark whose passion for arts, education, and cultural connection has made her a true global ambassador. Beyond the glitz and glamour of the crown, she's dedicated to inspiring the next generation, proving that intelligence, talent, and compassion are the real measures of beauty. Welcome to the show, superstar.
Thank you, and thank you for having me here.
So excited to have you here at iHeart headquarters. Wow.
I'm so excited to be here.
This is where big dreams become reality, and you are already on your way. So from dream to Miss Universe, the journey to the crown. I can't wait to get into this.
Oh, yeah.
Every great story has a beginning, and yours is one that's captivated millions. You started as a young dancer, a multilingual student of the world, and now you're here with a crown that represents so much more than just beauty. Take us back to where it all began. What led you to compete in Miss Universe, and what was that journey like?
Pageantry has always been something that had admired me since I was a little girl. Actually, since I was 5 years old, I started watching pageants. So already there, I really started a huge interest in the pageant world. So once I turned 17, because why hold back? I competed at the nationals, and then my pageant journey just started from there. Because being able to compete in pageants is also a way of using your voice.
Without a doubt. And you have not only used your voice once and twice, but you continue to use it throughout the entire year. It's fascinating to hear how this journey unfolded for you, especially knowing that it wasn't just about winning a title, but about using your voice and your skills and your passion to make an impact. And that's exactly what you've done.
Exactly.
Now, let's talk about the responsibilities of Miss Universe. So a lot of people see the glamour of Miss Universe, but not many understand what actually comes with this great big title. It's a job that requires leadership, advocacy, and a deep commitment to global causes. Can you define what your duties are as Miss Universe? What does carrying this title truly entail?
My duty as Miss Universe means that I represent women from all around the world, and that is, of course, a huge responsibility. I am a role model, and I am the voice of the youth and the women from, again, all around the world. So it means a lot, and it's a huge responsibility, but I enjoy every moment of it.
That's incredible. It really puts into perspective how much responsibility comes with the crown. This is about way more than photo ops and red carpets. It's about real world impact.
It really is.
Now, the power of connection, speaking 5 languages. You're speaking to a language veteran here. I speak French, English, Greek, and Italian fluently. So you speak 5. You're ahead of me here. Not many people can say they speak 5 languages. It's not just impressive. It's a superpower. Studies show that multilingual individuals have better cognitive flexibility and even a lower risk of dementia later in life. But beyond science, I'm going to say this, and I say this all the time, language is about connection.
It is.
So how has being multilingual shaped your experiences, especially at Miss Universe, where you meet people from all over the world? And what languages do you speak?
I have Danish, English, of course. I have German, Swedish, and Norwegian. So mostly the Scandinavian countries because they're kind of similar to the Danish language. And for me, being able to understand multiple languages is also a way of respecting other cultures. And that's why I'm also trying to learn Spanish because I'm going to visit a lot of Latin American countries. And I really want to show them my respect and I want to talk with the local communities. So I really think that it's such an important thing to learn lots of languages.
Yeah, Spanish is the no-brainer.
Exactly.
With the incredible talent manager that you have, you should already be fluent in this language. Now, I love that. It's one thing to speak different languages, but like you said, it's another to truly connect with people from different cultures. And it's clear that for you, communication is about building bridges, not just speaking words, right?
It is.
Now, global travels and cultural exchange. So Miss Universe isn't just about wearing this beautiful crown or the sash. It's about global impact. I know you're traveling again this week.
Yes.
You're traveling
all the time.
You're traveling the world representing Denmark in many ways while learning so many other cultures. So what has been one of the most eye-opening experiences from your travels so far?
Oh, we have experienced so many amazing things. I think each of every country I visit, I get another eye-opening moment because I get to see different cultures and different aspects of life and people, different aspects of living. So for me, each of every country I visit, I find something new, eye-opening.
Now, giving back, I know, is important. You work with youth and sports organizations.
Yes.
Your dedication to mentorship doesn't stop at dance. You've been deeply involved in volunteer work with youth sports organizations, helping to instill values like teamwork and perseverance. Why is working with young people so important to you, and how do you see sports and arts shaping the next generation?
It's really important to work with the young generation because the young generation is the future. So let's start off there. But to be able to work voluntarily at local sports associations is a way for me of giving back. I used to be a professional dancer, so I know how it is growing up in my dance classes. I was there 24/7, and so it's a way of giving back. And also, I believe the sports associations is where all the kids come and they have a community where they can connect with each other while they're being healthy and doing exercise at the same time.
Yes, the discipline is so
Exactly.
important.
I have all my discipline from my dance teachers.
Yeah, no, it's true.
It is.
The lessons learned through sports and the arts go far beyond the field or the stage. They shape character, resilience, and leadership, and that's exactly what we need more of in today's world. Now let's talk about confidence and empowerment, just beyond the beauty standards. So the pageant world is evolving. Today, Miss Universe is about more than just beauty. It's about, like we've been saying, intelligence, advocacy, and making a real impact. How do you personally define beauty, and what message do you hope to send to young women who look up to you?
For me, beauty always comes from the inside, because if you're not pretty on the inside, then it will always reflect your outer beauty. And the message I always want to give on, and especially to the young generation, is to never give up. Always dream big, but you have to work really hard for it, because you have the whole universe in your hand, but you just have to take the opportunity and grab it. But you have to work hard, or else it will be really hard to achieve in the end.
Yeah, working hard is so important. I
Exactly.
want to remind this to all the youth listening out there. It's working hard that really pays off. Being lazy is going to get you nowhere. It's that discipline of the little things that you do that make a difference every single day. Those baby steps accumulate to something great. And it's refreshing to hear, Victoria, that it's clear that true beauty isn't about fitting into a mold, right? It's about
Exactly.
embracing who you are and using your voice for something bigger than yourself, and you've done exactly that.
Yeah,
It
thank you.
really does show, my dear, how this platform, something like Miss Universe, can be such a launch pad for bigger opportunities, allowing winners to build businesses, advocate for causes, and create lasting impact. The world is your oyster.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Now let's talk about hydration and performance, the secret behind your beautiful glow. Now, as someone who is constantly on the stage, in the spotlight, traveling and balancing a demanding schedule, staying hydrated must be a top priority.
Exactly.
And studies show, we always go back to our studies, that even mild dehydration can impact energy levels and cognitive function. And let's be real, glowing skin starts from within. So what role does hydration play in your daily routine? And do you have any go-to wellness habits or products that you keep in your toolbox?
For me, actually, hydration is the key. I always say that is my beauty tip, to always drink 2 liters of either coconut water or regular water a day. I say that all the time because you really need hydration from within, and also because I travel so much and I dress up a lot, but I just came upon the brand Once Upon a Coconut, and they have so many amazing flavors that you can always just bring on the go. So that is currently my new obsession, because they are also sugar-free, they're full of vitamins, and they just taste amazing.
You're 100% right.
Exactly, so that is for sure my new go-to drink. Also, when it comes to my beauty tip, I always keep on a good skincare routine. It's really, really important to clean your skin in the morning and at the nighttime, and also to use a face mask. I really, really want to try the Lift Pro mask. I've heard wonders about it, and also because I travel so much, my skin gets sometimes a little puffy. And again, with the hydration, I really need to have a lasting glow, and I heard that is exactly what the Lift Pro mask is doing. So I'm super excited to try it and hopefully get that glass glow skin.
Wow, you have some secret sauces in that toolbox. Now let's talk about life after Miss Universe.
Yeah.
So winning Miss Universe is an incredible achievement, but it's also just the beginning of an even bigger journey. Where do you see yourself in the next few years? What's next for Victoria?
It's super hard to say right now, because I'm taking every day by day and just enjoying my reign as Miss Universe this year. But Miss Universe is also now all about building a future leader. So, of course, I see myself as a successful entrepreneur in a couple of years.
Oh, you're headed right for that direction. It's exciting. It's inspiring to see how you're already planning to use this platform for long-term impact. And I have no doubt that whatever you do next will be just as meaningful as what you're doing now. Now, I know you touched a little bit about skincare and self-care. I mean, the science of the glow, right?
Yes.
Because skincare is a huge part of self-care, especially with your demanding schedule and traveling and being in front of cameras all the time, your skin is the largest organ, and keeping our skin healthy goes beyond just what we put on it. Hydration, nutrition, proper care, they all play a role. Now, we talked about skincare rituals or products that are game changers for you. We talked about the CO2 Lift Pro Mask, which is carbon dioxide therapy for skin rejuvenation. Can't wait for you to try that. But do you have any other skincare tips that you want to share with us?
As a girl who struggled with acne when I was younger, I really believe that a good skincare routine is key also to feeling good, because I know that is super important. So for me, that, and of course my hydration. I always say that because I really believe that that is one of the keys to a clean and fresh skin.
Yeah, I love that. And I couldn't agree more. Skin health is a reflection of overall wellness. Speaking of game changers, CO2lift.com, a big shout out to you guys for supplying Miss Universe with the incredible masks, a product that I swear by for hydration and rejuvenation. Victoria, it was such a pleasure having this conversation with you and having you here at our headquarters. You are amazing.
Thank you. And thank you for having me here.
And for those that want to keep up with her journey, you guys can definitely check her out on the gram, or you can check out Miss Universe at Miss Universe on the gram, and Victoria herself at Victoria. I'll spell this one out for you guys. It's at Victoria, AKJAER. And a huge thank you to our sponsors, Once Upon a Coconut, because staying hydrated should be as pure, refreshing, and world-class as our guest today. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure being your host. Stay tuned. We'll be right back right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut.
Discover the refreshing taste of 100% pure coconut water that actually tastes great. Naturally sweet with no artificial flavors or added sugar. It's packed with electrolytes to keep you hydrated throughout your day. And with 10% of profits going to charity, every sip makes a difference. Pure taste, pure goodness. Experience nature's Gatorade. Visit Once Upon a Coconut or naturesgatorade.com.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland and their channel partners. Head to yourhometv.com for free, family-friendly programming, streaming 24/7.
In business and in life, there's always an upside. Finding it is often the challenge. Having a mindset that looks for it and embraces problems as opportunities is the key to thriving. Finding the Upside with Maria de Lorenzis Reyes explores the transformative power of optimism, featuring visionary business owners, influential leaders, and inspiring everyday people. Tune in and see how they navigate changing conditions with optimism and innovation. Watch the special series One Tough Chick, highlighting resilient and powerful women, streaming on yourhometv.com.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in the Going Deep segment, brought to you by CO2 Lift in our Expert on the Microphone series. Today, we're joined by Julie Bass Kaplan. She's a board-certified family nurse practitioner, injector, and educator. She began her aesthetic career in 1990. She and her husband, Jory, co-founded Disappearing Act Laser and Skin Rejuvenation in 1999, and she's been injecting fillers and neurotoxins since 2001. Quite the seasoned professional. Subsequently, she founded Jubilant Medical Aesthetics and Training Center in Ashland, Oregon, and travels internationally to teach the art and safety of medical aesthetic injectables, something she is deeply passionate about. She joins me today to chat all about injectable treatments, how CO2 Lift is complementing the results, and the importance of education in an era of such rapid advancements. Welcoming now to the show is Julie Bass Kaplan. Welcome, superstar.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
So excited. So let's dive right in. You're no doubt a master in the art of facial aesthetics, particularly when it comes to injectables like fillers and neurotoxins. And interestingly enough, in the past few years, there's been a noticeable shift in patient preference, with more people opting for minimally invasive or even non-invasive treatments over surgical options. Now, in your expert opinion, what do you think is driving the growing demand for these non-invasive procedures and products?
I really believe that a lot of people just don't have the desire for downtime. You know, we are so busy these days that we we don't have time to look really bad, to have sort of a pizza face for a week or 2 weeks. So downtime is a big driver in my practice. And I think really across the world, the more technology is getting better and better. And that's what I just see. I see people coming in and going, when will I see the results? And will I be able to go to work today?
Wow. And with so many options available, from like Botox to fillers to biostimulators, how do you determine like the best approach for each patient? And what are some of the most in-demand injectable treatments you're seeing right now?
Yeah, so I think every patient is so different. And I think that we as practitioners should really take the time to get to know them, because if you connect with that patient and really have the time to educate them and tell them about each option that you have and develop a care plan from the very beginning, from the very first consultation, that's the best thing to do, because everybody is so wildly different. They have different goals. They have different health care issues. They have different skin types. So I think the more confident we get as practitioners, the better we're going to do on these care plans. And I really believe that the happiest patients that are going to actually stick to a care plan are the ones that are super educated by you and that trust you. So I do like to weave in their non-invasive and educational needs about their skin. A lot of people have no idea about skincare products, how they work and how to use them. And that's something that is absolutely non-invasive, and I hope nobody leaves my office empty-handed, and at least they leave with full heads and more of an understanding of how to really have healthy skin and healthy bodies as they walk out the door. But yeah, we don't, in the past, if we're so busy, we don't take the time to educate them. But I do really love the non-invasive stuff, and the regenerative medicine that's coming out now is super exciting.
Yes, there's so many strides and the industry is advancing so rapidly. Now let's bring CO2 lift into the picture. As we know, carboxytherapy, it's been around since the 1930s, and injecting carbon dioxide gas underneath the skin is not something new, but CO2 lift was able to remodel this in a new delivery system as a topical gel mask. And while it has many monotherapy benefits, it can also be used in combo therapies, both pre and post procedure. Julie, how does CO2 lift fit into your broader aesthetic treatment plans, especially for injectables? And how have you firsthand seen it improve a patient's results and recovery?
So I think the place it really shines is an add-on to a treatment such as laser or hybrid laser, RF microneedling, regular microneedling, things that actually leave you some downtime straight off. Nobody wants to leave my office looking like a cherry tomato, or like they just got out of a horror film. So what I found is that if we put it on right after their procedure, first of all, they have that extra 30 minutes to sit and relax and have that, if you will, moment of zen. And then when they take it off, their skin is notably less red. Pre-procedure, I think there's a lot of benefits from that too, because it does kind of give them a little bit of pre like getting their skin super healthy before they undergo an invasive treatment, and not only that, before a night out, say it's your anniversary, you want to look stunning, or you're going on stage, or you're going anywhere you're going to be seen by the public, or you want to look good for your partner, it just gives you this beautiful glow. So I keep it by my bedside, just because it's kind of fun to put it on and lay there, take it off, and just feel really, really, I don't know, sexy and glowy. I just really love it.
Yeah, that's a great endorsement. And going beyond your practice, I mean, you're a trusted source and educator in the aesthetic field, teaching others how to safely inject. And as someone who I'm sure you've seen it all, I'd love it if you could just share with us the most common challenges patients face during recovery from injectable treatments, and maybe even some of the biggest mistakes you've seen from poorly performed injectables, such as, vascular occlusions or nodules or overfilling? What steps do you take to manage these complications?
So yes, I've seen it all. And I think I see a lot less experienced injectors having a lot of trouble. I think it's the people that don't get the attention and get the training that feel like they're out alone on an island, because there's so many possible side effects that people could have and adverse events that people could have. And the more you know, and the more you have a community around you that can help you, I think you won't feel just so scared and alone. And as far as patients go, it's really good to seek a practitioner with a lot of experience who also knows how to manage every single adverse event, from nodules to vascular adverse events to infection, to, like you said, overfilled situation. What if they overfill you with something you can't reverse? Also finding a practitioner that doesn't go on the cheap and order off the internet, because you never know what's really coming in that shipment to their doorstep. It could be silicone. I've seen that over and over and over, where I can't reverse something, and then you look. They say, hey, this won't go away. I've been to lots of practitioners. Then I look with my ultrasound and I see silicone oil. Patients have no idea what people are putting in them. And finding somebody that you absolutely trust is vital. And so that's me trying to answer a loaded question.
Well, you did great. You did great. So now I know CO2 lift can even help with some of these complications, even serious ones like the vascular occlusion. Could you share a bit about that?
Yeah, so we have a kit. Yvonne Delos has this wonderful aesthetic ER kit. It's so cute. It looks like a little Chanel bag, but it's like a fishing tackle box. It looks like a Chanel bag, and it's easy to find in your practice, So we whip that out. That kit has something for everything in there, including blindness. We're just up to date all the time on research of how to treat each and every adverse event. And carboxy gel, the CO2 Lift Pro, it really helps in oxygenating a face that is, or skin that is lacking of oxygen from an adverse event that's a vascular adverse event. So it's on our protocol, and it's in our bag.
All right. Now let's shift gears. All right. CO2 lift. That was a great, great real experience there, that you've, having a toolkit and having CO2 Lift Pro at your disposal for a myriad of functionalities is very impressive, because it's not just an at-home gel mask. This is being used pre and post therapy. I've even heard it compared to a hyperbaric oxygen chamber by some of the top experts, but it's being used all around. So I'm going to shift gears to touch on another product CO2 Lift offers, which is the CO2 Lift V for vaginal and vulva rejuvenation. It's a painless, effective treatment that has really no downtime, addresses vaginal dryness, urinary issues, vaginal laxity, and just so much more. I know you have experience with the product. How have you witnessed CO2 Lift V transform a woman's comfort and life? And why do you think it's so important to address women's intimate health?
Well, going back to what I said earlier about connecting with your patients, it is a huge deal. And I think that not only when we're connecting with them, we should not only just give them suggestions of what we think they need. I think it's a great idea to have sort of a sushi list of items with photographs that you hand them, like a dry erase. You can laminate it and have a dry erase pen on it so they can X out what their concerns are. But putting vaginal issues on there is a great idea. And you could have a picture of a woman in her bikini. It doesn't have to be a disgusting photo, but because a lot of times if it's just on a checklist and they check it, it kind of opens the door for me to say, yeah, here we are. We're middle-aged now. Can you believe it? And what issues are you having? And then sometimes if they ask me a personal question, I'll be honest with them and I'll open up to them and really share these things together. Practitioner to woman. It might be a little more awkward if you're a man talking about this, but you can. But I absolutely open up to my patients and say, hey, there's no shame in vaginal dryness or, urinary issues. But I do have a painless, procedure-free way that you can be helped by this. And let me just say, I am 57 years old and my husband is 17 years older than I am. And so he's 75. He's 75. And we really, really, really love each other. So the creator of the VLIF said, hey, Julie, I want to tell you something. Off label, you can try using it as a lube. And let me tell you, so now we mix it up. We wait a minute. We put it in, and then we have the best sex of our lives.
Wow. Oh my God. You just blew my mind. I love this.
It is incredible. I mean, my husband, a 75-year-old guy, it's even better than when he was 48. We've been married for so long, and I mean, we're going like several times and it's so fun. And me too. I'm just like, hey, wow, I could still like have like an extended period of a lot of fun.
Wow, this is amazing. I love to hear these amazing stories. Well, thank you very much for that real life testimonial. Now, before we wrap up here, let's go back to education. I know this is a deep passion of yours. You're a speaker and trainer for Allergan Medical Institute and Galderma, and you regularly hold small group workshops at your training center in Ashland, Oregon, including your monthly anatomy workshop, Jubilant Head and Breakfast. And of course, you educate online and travel internationally to speak and teach the art and safety of medical aesthetic injectables. Why do you believe education is so crucial in this field for both students and practicing professionals, especially in an era of such rapid advancement?
Yeah, well, this field of medicine is rapidly growing and it's very, very new. If you think about it, I bought a hair removal laser in 1999 and started nursing school that same year because that's all I knew. That's what I wanted to do. I had a goatee and I wanted it gone. That's the real reason I started in this field. So I started this business by the hair of my chinny chin chin, literally. But I really, it's true. And and then Botox was FDA approved for wrinkles. And that was in, late 2001, 2002. So I got my nursing degree in 2001 and it was prime just to hit the ground running. But I told you before, there was no trainers. There was nobody out there. There's literally, you open up a Botox, information sheet and there's just 5 little X's on this drawing. All not talking about where the muscles are, not talking about any of that. Just here's where you point, not how deep you even put the needle. So we all had to make a lot of mistakes to figure it out. But now it's a totally different thing. We're talking, 25 years later, there's so much research happening and it's just really soared. The trajectory of people paying attention to this field of medicine has exploded. But, you have to take the time to catch up. You have to take the time to learn. When before there's just a laser hair removal and there was maybe tattoo removal machine. Now there's so many machines. There's so many devices, so many procedures. So one of the challenges I have in onboarding a new provider in my practice is where do you start? And yeah, I mean, because it's like I got to learn one brick at a time. They're faced with a big wall of information, Yeah. I got to wade into the ocean. They were tossed into a sea of sharks. So I just feel like small group workshops is the way to go. You learn more by being one-on-one with the person teaching and not being afraid to ask questions. That's why my workshops are 3-4 days at a time, because I want them to get to know me and not be afraid to ask me anything. And truly, they cannot ask me any stupid questions. And there's a lot of questions they might ask that I don't know yet. So I say, hey, let's research this. And now there's so much research. If there's something we don't know, there's research. And guess what? A lot of nurses, nurse practitioners, PAs, MDs, DOs, we are all figuring out together and trying to take that time to write a study, to write research ourselves. So it's an exciting time. I think it's just going to keep going. And I think the direction aesthetic medicine will find is absolutely wellness, regenerative medicine. I think in the future, it's going to be a lot about regenerative medicine, and it'll be less foreign objects being injected into our face or foreign implants. I think it's going to be a lot more natural. And I'm glad the look is going more natural too. I think that's what I have always liked. If you look back through my Instagram, you'll see me not looking so natural because we all tried stuff out, and it's kind of embarrassing, but I'm not going to erase it. I just want everybody to understand that we're all figuring this out together. Yeah. I look at my lips, 5 years ago, they were so wide because I kept putting new filler on top of old filler instead of erasing it and getting a fresh start. But filler really lasts a long, long, long time. So we really shouldn't be just injecting ourselves.
Stacking it. Yeah. You've made a lot of great points, a lot of great information. Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, we could talk about this for another 20 minutes and keep going, but we are officially out of time. But I thank you so much for really just shining a light on these important topics and helping educate, our audience, and more importantly, keeping it real.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I had a great time.
That was our Going Deep segment brought to you by CO2 Lift. And that was the incredible Julie Bass Kaplan, board certified family nurse practitioner, injector, and educator. Definitely check her out and her husband's practice at disappearingactlaser.com and her training center and programs at Jubilant headandbreakfast.com. And of course, you can follow her on Instagram at jubilant.julie. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by CO2 Lift. As we age, our skin loses moisture and elasticity, causing wrinkled skin. You can reverse this aging process with CO2 Lift. CO2 Lift utilizes the powerful benefits of carbon dioxide to lift, tighten, and regenerate your skin. This simple, painless at-home carboxytherapy treatment is scientifically proven to reverse the aging process. You will see reduction in wrinkles, increase luminosity, and improve pigmentation, sagging, skin tone, and radiance.
For more information or to order CO2 Lift, ask your skincare professional or go to co2lift.com.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by the Fieldhouse in Northvale, New Jersey, a vibrant and fresh take on youth and adult sports and family fun, and home to the New Jersey Thunder softball program. Plan unforgettable birthday parties or private events, or explore camps and programs that keep kids active and inspired. Take time for yourself in adult leagues or rent a field or court with friends. From a cutting-edge gaming cave to hitting and pitching centers and top-tier sports instructors, the Fieldhouse is reigniting the next generation of play. Head to njfieldhouse.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. This is the Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, where we dive into the simple yet overlooked habits that can make or break your health. Now, let me ask you something. How much water did your child drink today? How about you? If you think you're drinking enough, there's a reality check. Nearly 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated, and they don't even realize it. Dehydration doesn't just make you thirsty. It can cause headaches, fatigue, mood swings, digestive issues, and even impact brain function. And get this, some of the most common symptoms in kids, like trouble focusing or feeling sluggish, could actually be signs of dehydration. That's why we're tackling the silent health crisis with one of the best in the business. Joining us today is Dr. Will Cole. He's a top functional medicine expert, host of the Art of Being Well podcast, and the New York Times bestselling author. He's here to break down why most of us are dehydrated, how it's affecting our bodies in ways we don't even realize, and what we can do to fix it. Is your child secretly dehydrated? Well, let's tackle the hidden health crisis parents need to know. Welcoming now to the show is the amazing Dr. Will Cole. Welcome, superstar.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
So excited. Okay, hydration. The role of hydration in optimal health is something that has piqued my interest as a mom. Let's start with the basics. I mean, most people think dehydration just means being really thirsty, but from what I've read, by the time you feel thirsty, your body is already in a deficit. And dehydration isn't just a summer problem, it's affecting people year round, even in colder weather. So why is hydration the foundation of good health? And what are some signs that people, especially parents and kids, what are the signs that they might be dehydrated without even realizing it?
It's more than just drinking more water, which we can talk about. That's part of it, but not the entirety of it. So the symptoms of, let's call it functional dehydration or suboptimal hydration, is far reaching. We can go from every cell of our body, every system of our body, but it's one thing that's going to profoundly impact our mood, our energy levels, our digestion, our mental health, so many different things. So it's definitely important, and we overlook it. In our culture, we're so busy, we're so distracted, and we're thinking about all the big things. We forget the simple things that are significant needle movers to how we feel.
Yeah, you're right. And so many people wake up already feeling drained, reaching for coffee before they even get out of bed. And I mean, parents, I mean, we're guilty of this too, running on caffeine and wondering why we're still exhausted by noon. I mean, but I've heard that even mild dehydration can cause fatigue and brain fog. So I'm very mindful of this as of lately. What's the connection between hydration and energy levels? And how can people tell if their tiredness is actually due to dehydration?
Well, our brain needs water. On a cellular level, our brain needs hydration. So, water, and I would open it up to water plus electrolytes. Electrolytes tell water where to go, electrolytes tell hydration where to go. And there's a lot of the work from Dr. Gerald Pollack out of the University of Washington has done some amazing research about water, looking at something called structured water or gel water. It is something not enough people know about, but the science is fascinating, and it's the actual structure of water within our cells. And actually, it's chemical structure is different. It's H3O2 versus H2O, and this is the type of water within our cells. And Dr. Gerald Pollack talks about how using food and water plus electrolytes to really enhance hydration. So the old view of hydration was just to drink water, which again, that's a piece of it, but it's so much more than that. We want the bioavailability of water, the effectiveness of hydration to be increased. So anybody that's struggling with brain fog or fatigue, they definitely want to make sure they're optimizing hydration. And it's one of the most common things that I see with new telehealth patients is that their electrolytes are imbalanced, and that's impacting hydration, and they're struggling with brain fog and fatigue and feeling irritable, wired, and tired. They don't know it's something as simple as just optimizing hydration.
Yeah, that's why I love coconut water. I mean, separate of the fact that
Yeah.
it's dense dense in electrolytes. I mean, you have all your basics, right? Potassium, magnesium, and those are the most important really for optimal function.
Medicine be thy food and food thy medicine. That's Hippocrates, one of the fathers of modern medicine. Every doctor takes the Hippocratic oath. And coconut water is one of my favorite tools, like food medicines, that I recommend to our telehealth patients because it has hydration, it has water, right? But it also has those electrolytes, like you mentioned, like potassium and magnesium. And it also has this structure of the gel water that I talked about from Dr. Gerald Pollack. It's actually more hydrating than water alone because of these other compounds within it. Other foods that are higher in gel water, coconut water would be top of the list. Chia seeds would be another one. Fruits, vegetables would be other ones. Bone broth would be another one. Is using food and drinks that are from nature to enhance hydration. You're going to notice such a difference when versus just chugging water all day long, which again that can be a part of your day. But you want to have a both and not either or approach, and using something like coconut water is a great way to take hydration to the next level.
I couldn't agree more. You said the words right. I mean, you stole the words out of my mouth. Now let's shift to gut health. So hydration and gut health. One thing that rarely gets mentioned is the role hydration plays in digestion. We hear all about fiber, probiotics, and healthy foods, but none of that works properly if your body isn't absorbing and moving nutrients the way it should. So can you explain how hydration impacts gut health, digestion, and even our microbiome?
Yeah. So and this is really beautiful. We talked about this right after the brain. I mean, your gut and brain all of our gut and brain, and when I say gut, I mean small intestines, large intestines, stomach. The gut and brain is formed from the same fetal tissue. So when babies are growing in their mother's womb, the gut and brain are formed from the same fetal tissue, and they're inextricably linked for the rest of our life through what's known in the scientific literature as the gut-brain axis, or the connection between the gut and the brain. And that's why researchers call the gut the second brain. If you think about it, the intestines kind of even look like the brain. 95% of serotonin, our happy neurotransmitter, is made in the gut, stored in the gut. 50% of dopamine, our pleasure neurotransmitter, is made in the gut, stored in the gut. Hydration plays a significant role. We talked about the brain, but it's going to impact the second brain too, the gut. And you're right. Prebiotics, fiber, probiotics, talking about all these nutrient density when it comes to food. It's important, but it's all predicated on hydration, because it's the vehicle in which everything can be functioning on a cellular level. So, I mean, let me count the ways. If someone's dehydrated, it's going to slow GI motility. So a lot of people that have sluggish bowels, we talk a lot about poop, if we can talk about this on the radio, but poop is a common thing we talk about here at the Functional Medicine Telehealth Center, because it's a window, it's a check engine light into how well or how unwell your body is. You should be going 2 to 3 snakes a day, as we say, as far as the frequency and formation of your number 2, of your bowel movement. So if you're doing less than that, or it's not fully formed, or it's incomplete, these are signs you may be dehydrated or have other gut issues that need to be looked at. But hydration is certainly item number 1 that you should be looking at. It's going to impact the microbiome, as you said, which is all the trillions of bacteria in your gut. Those bacteria need hydration to live. So depending on the study that you cite, we have upwards of 100 trillion bacteria in our gut that impact our mood, impact your immune system, impact your hormones, and impact your digestion. And to put that into context, we have about 30 trillion human cells. We are exponentially more bacteria than human. All those bacteria, this microbiome metropolis, this gut garden that we have, needs water to grow. So it needs hydration to grow, which I would say, again, using foods as hydration, like coconut water and other gel water rich foods, are an important tool. So it is needed. I mean, I could go on and on. I mean,
you're definitely passionate about this. So now let's move on to hydration and skin health. So let's talk skin, because who doesn't want the natural glow? I see people spending hundreds on skincare routines, but what if the biggest beauty secret is just proper hydration, right? So how does hydration affect skin health, and what are some signs that dehydration might be showing up on our face?
The body's interconnected, right? So what's going on your skin, how your skin looks, is oftentimes an outer mirror of what's going on in the body, specifically in the gut. So all those things that I talked about that's happening in the gut, right? If you're dehydrated and your bacteria are not being properly hydrated, I didn't mention this, but the mucosal barrier, which is this protective barrier within the gut, there can be a lot of opportunistic and pathogenic bacteria within the gut microbiome. There can be a depletion of this protective mucosal barrier because of the lack of hydration in the gut. This creates an inhospitable, healthy environment for good bacteria, and a lot of weeds can overgrow in this gut garden because you're not properly hydrating it, and it's going to starve out the good guys and create these pro-inflammatory cytokines or bacterial toxins that release cytokines called lipopolysaccharides, or bacterial toxins. Anyways, they can pass through the gut lining.
That's perfect. That's because my next question is the link between hydration and inflammation, because what you just said is so key. I mean, inflammation is a major root cause of chronic illness, from joint pain to autoimmune disorders. And while diet gets a lot of the attention, I've read that hydration, to your point, plays a huge role in regulating inflammation. So since you're on this, can you break down the relationship between hydration and inflammation, and how, again, staying properly hydrated with those balanced electrolytes can really help with things like pain, bloating, and even immune health?
Yeah. Well, and a lot of things we're talking about with brain fog and fatigue, digestive problems, skin issues, if you're talking about acne or wrinkles, skin inflammation, accelerated aging of the skin, these are all inflammatory. So yes, the joint pain, the musculoskeletal aches and pains, that's inflammation. People know that a bit more overtly. So maybe just to maybe shock everybody and surprise everybody that a lot of those other things we talked about are inflammatory too. It's the commonality between just about every health problem under the sun is chronic inflammation. And hydration does a lot to support a healthy, balanced immune system and to flush out, if you will, or decrease pro-inflammatory pathways. So the skin can be inflamed, which can impact any lack of hydration that's going on is going to impact the skin in a negative way and contribute to inflammation. But it's so much more than just the skin. So you're right. Every cell of your body, most people, sadly today, are somewhere on this inflammation spectrum. A shocking 93% of the United States, according to conventional data, is metabolically not healthy. Why? Inflammation. Inflammation is what's causing that. So you want to move the needle in inflammation and calm inflammation, it has to start with hydration because it's going to allow everything else you're doing from a food standpoint and wellness standpoint to be more effective.
So
Think of
the
it as like,
domino effect. Yeah.
exactly. It's the gasoline for things to happen in a positive way on a cellular level.
Yeah. Now we always hear, stay hydrated when we're sick, but most people don't realize how much stress and illness actually increase our hydration needs. So why does our body need more hydration when we're stressed, run down, or recovering from illness? And what are, some ways to understand that, okay, there's stressors right now and I need to start replenishing properly?
When the body's stressed by from either physical or mental emotional reasons, the body's demand for hydration is going to come up because it's spending more on hydration just to maintain homeostasis, balance. So the body's trying to keep you functioning. It's trying to maintain homeostasis, but it's having trouble doing so. So it's spending a lot. It's spending a lot in vitamins, minerals, electrolytes, and hydration. So all that stuff, you need to give your body more and overcompensate, if you will, in hydration and other things within nutrition to mitigate this over expenditure during the stressful time in life. And that's why stress management is so important, right? Because it is erosive to our health, but sometimes we can't change this stressful time in our life. Maybe, if you have a cold or flu, you kind of have to ride it out. That's why hydration is so important, because your body's demand for hydration has gone up.
Yeah. So bringing me to the very last question to button this up, and this has been a great segment full of insight and education, but practical hydration tips. I know people are like, well, just drink water. Sure, you say just drink water, but at the end of the day, people are not hydrated. So it's not that easy to just, hey, let me just remember. So we know why hydration is so important because we just broke it all down. And talking about how to actually make it a habit is really critical because let's be real, most people just forget to drink water until it's too late. So talking about best practical strategies for people, especially busy parents who struggle to stay hydrated throughout the day, and even the kids, what are your tips?
Well, sometimes we can use technology to our benefit. We are on our phones too much, so I'm not advocating for people to just be scrolling social media forever and ever. But sometimes setting notifications, there are apps that can allow you to remember it more, be more mindful throughout the day, and create healthy habits. And that's what we want to do. You can use technology for its benefits in the short term until it becomes an intuitive, mindful habit. So I love phone notifications to be able to drink. I think the bottles that show you the amount of liquid,
Yes.
and you is a great way to say, okay, this is my goal for the day.
Yeah.
And I can do this. And you just carry that big old bottle of coconut water plus electrolytes, something that's going to have that sort of gel water that I talked about, this sort of nutrient dense water, if you will, sipping on that throughout the day, and eating not just water like we keep talking about, but eating foods that are nutrient dense that are also hydrating, whether it's coconut water, whether it's chia seeds, fruits, vegetables, bone broth. These things you may not think of them as hydrating, but they are very, very hydrating. And I would argue in many ways more hydrating than water alone. So maybe it's not just that bottle of water that's your goal for the day, but how can you use your meals as medicine that is going to be hydrating you in a much deeper cellular way? So those are some tips that I would say to be successful.
Love it. Love it. And reach out for that coconut water. That 1 can of coconut water will work miracles for your skin, your hair, your gut microbiome. I make sure I, drink 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, the pure. And a big shout out to Once Upon a Coconut. Dr. Will Cole, we are thrilled that you were on this segment. Can't wait to send you all the samples of the different varieties of the Once Upon a Coconut flavor to get your expert opinion on that one, but you're going to love it.
Love it. Can't wait.
If you guys want to find out more, you can definitely head directly to Dr. Will Cole's website. It's drwillcole.com. He's all over social media, on the gram, on X, on TikTok, as Dr. Will Cole. That was the Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut. This was a moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut.
Discover the refreshing taste of 100% pure coconut water that actually tastes great. Naturally sweet with no artificial flavors or added sugar. It's packed with electrolytes to keep you hydrated throughout your day. And with 10% of profits going to charity, every sip makes a difference. Pure taste, pure goodness. Experience nature's Gatorade. Visit Once Upon a Coconut or naturesgatorade.com.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by the Polished Beauty Podcast with Dr. Daisy Ayin. Hey, ambitious women, ready to shine on the inside and out? Tune in to the Polished Beauty Podcast, where we talk about business, beauty, brains, and body all in one spot. Meet Dr. Daisy Ayin, triple board certified cosmetic surgeon, pro-aging advocate, fitness enthusiast, and your go-to for real talk on leveling up every part of your life. The Polished Beauty Podcast is your dose of ambition meets empowerment. For more information, head to polishedbeautypodcast.com.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Polished Beauty Podcast. This is Dr. Daisy Ayin, and we're going to talk about something that's so relevant, vaginal hygiene. What is the proper way to clean the vagina? So number one, vaginal health is important to your well-being. It's one of those things that we often don't pay too much attention to it, but it's so important. Let's talk about the anatomy. So anytime you hear about vaginal hygiene, I want you to think vulvar hygiene. So anatomy, the opening internally, that's called vaginal or vagina. So from the opening inside, that's your vagina. It's self-cleansing. It doesn't need any products. It doesn't need anything to clean it. Your body naturally produces secretions that clean the vagina. Okay? So from that opening outside, that's called your vulva, which is your clitoris, your labia minora, your labia majora. That you do need to clean. And I recommend using gentle products to clean the vulva. Anytime you hear of vaginal hygiene, cleaning products, immediately think of vulva, because that's really what they're saying. Okay? Important. The vagina has a normal pH balance, okay? The vaginal pH is like 3.8 to 4.5. So it's very important to not disrupt that vaginal pH, because when it's disrupted, it can lead to infection like bacterial vaginosis, yeast, or irritation. So anything you use, you want to make sure that that pH is maintained and it's not disrupted. So that's how you would go about choosing a product to clean the vulva. Okay? Remember I said vulvar hygiene. Anytime you hear about vaginal hygiene or vaginal cleaning products. So pH balance is very important to avoid anything that will be disruptive, okay? So some of the products that you need, just to tell you, use mild, fragrance-free soap or pH balance wash. I also want you to clean with warm water using a soft cloth or your hands. Pat dry, no rubbing, and that's it. You know, it's also important to avoid using non-breathable cotton underwear. Okay. Some of the don'ts. Do not, number one, douche. It disrupts the natural microbiome of the vagina. So no douching. Do not use any scented soaps or body washes, because it does disrupt the microbiome or the pH. Do not overwash. Once a day is more than plenty. If you want to do it twice a day, that's okay, but remember to be very gentle. Also, don't use any harsh scrubs or loafers, as I mentioned earlier. It's very important to keep the area just very sensitive and gentle with it, okay? Some of the recommended products over the counter, just to kind of give you some of the things to look for, pH balance, 3.8 to 4.5 is your goal. Also fragrance-free, no perfumes or essential oils, glycerin-free, paraben-free. If it has any of that, that's good to go. Some of the recommended cleanser, if you're going to use some, are like your Cetaphil Gentle Skin Cleanser, your Vanicream Gentle Body Wash, La Roche-Posay Lipicol Wash is good. Water-based feminine cleanser with pH balance is also helpful, okay? Generally avoid feminine washes with fragrances or products that has SLS, that's sodium lauryl sulfate, antibacterial soaps, and also feminine sprays, powders, or deodorants. Those things you want to avoid. And that is your snippet into vaginal cleansers, aka really vulvar cleansers.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by the Polished Beauty Podcast with Dr. Daisy Aim. Hey, ambitious women, ready to shine on the inside and out? Tune in to the Polished Beauty Podcast, where we talk about business, beauty, brains, and body all in one spot. Meet Dr. Daisy Aim, triple board certified cosmetic surgeon, pro-aging advocate, fitness enthusiast, and your go-to for real talk on leveling up every part of your life. The Polished Beauty Podcast is your dose of ambition meets empowerment. For more information, head to polishedbeautypodcast.com.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland and their channel partners. Head to yourhometv.com for free, family-friendly programming, streaming 24/7.
Do you have the dream of starting and owning your own business, or know of someone who does? If so, check out Your Home Business program, where they inspire, equip, and encourage those who dream of owning and operating their own business. Check out Your Home Business on yourhometv.com.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
Well, that's a wrap, my dear friends. We are at the end of our date. Remember to join me right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, every Saturday night from 9 to 10 p.m. Or you could head to 710WOR.iHeart.com/A Moment of Zen. Also remember that we're now live on Traverse TV Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern, YouTube Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern, and all episodes of A Moment of Zen are available on Your Home TV and Kathy Ireland worldwide streaming platform. You could head directly to our channel at mox.yourhometv.com. Thank you for listening to us. It's been an absolute pleasure being your host. Thanks again to all of our sponsors that continue to make this show possible. And remember that happiness is the only thing that multiplies when you share it. We'll be back next week.